Good day everyone. In today's class, we'll be discussing on quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is noted by the highest power of 2 among others. Its general form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So what this means is the values we'll be working on will be in form of this, which will have the highest power of 2. So ax has the power of 2, bx has the power of 1. So 2 is greater than 1. So the highest power in this equation is 2. So this is what a quadratic equation looks like. Now we have methods of solving quadratic equation. Method of solving quadratic equation. So now let's take down the method. We have the factorization method, which is what we'll be doing first. We have the perfect square method, the third one we'll be discussing is the completing the square method, the fourth, sum and product of its roots. The fourth one is the formula method. Some people actually call this the almighty formula. So we know it as the quadratic formula. Now the last one is the graphical method. Graphical method. So for today, we'll be starting with the factorization method. Now, let's take for instance, if a times b is equal to 0, then either a is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. So what this means is this: a times b are factors of a number, of an unknown number. So if a times b is equal to 0, then either one of them is equal to 0. Meaning, we'll take the first factor, a equals to 0, and we'll take the second factor, b equals to 0. So now let's solve some examples and relate what we just discussed and apply them. Examples. So the first example we'll be looking at here is x minus 4 brackets, another bracket, x plus 9 equals to 0. Now from our discussion above, we'll see that a times b is equals to 0 are product of two numbers, which are factors of two numbers. Now our example here is looking at alike. X minus 4 times x plus 9 is equals to 0. Remember, bracket in mathematics means multiplication. Now these are products or factors of an unknown numbers. Now let's solve this using the factorization method. In factorization, we actually factor out what is common. So this particular question I already factored out. So it's just for us to just solve. Now we're going to relate them with the illustration above. X minus 4 equals to 0, or x plus 9 equals to 0. So this way we are going to collect like terms. We are going to collect like term, number to numbers, then letter on its own. So we are going to do the left hand side separate and the right hand side separate. So x minus 4 equals to 0. When we collect the like term, it becomes x equals to 0. When minus 4 crosses to the right side, it becomes plus 4. Now I'll move to the right hand side, or x plus 9 equals to 0. X equals to 0. When plus 9 crosses equation sign, it becomes minus 9. Let's go back to the left hand side. X equals to 0 plus 4 becomes 4, or x equals to 0 minus 9 becomes minus 9. So therefore, our answer is x equal to 4 or minus 9. So let's have our second example. We'll have 8v squared minus 21v minus 9 equals to 0. So this example is quite different from the first example. The first example is already factored out for us, but this one we are going to look for the factors, then factor it out ourselves. Now, the first step we are going to do is we'll pick the first number and the last number, multiply them together. So 8v squared multiplied by minus 9 becomes minus 72v squared. So, but before we do this, we have to take note of the rule of signs. The rule states that plus times plus is equal to plus, plus times minus is equal to minus, minus times plus is equal to minus, minus times minus is equals to plus. Now this rule is going to guide us as we factorize. So now we have to look for the multiples of minus 72v squared. So we have to take down the minus for now and focus on 72v squared. So looking for the multiples is the same as looking for the factors, whereby when we multiply the two multiples together, it will give us 72v squared. So when we talk about multiples, we're looking for whatever number we multiply together, it will give us 72v squared. Now these two numbers we are looking for will actually be numbers that when we add them together, when we add the two numbers, that's one will be here and the other one will be here. When we add them together, it will give us minus 21v. Now let's look out for the factors of minus 72v squared. So we'll be having, let's start from the smallest number. The lowest number is 1. So we'll start from the lowest number and we'll get to a number that we substitute minus 21v. So we'll start with 1v times 72v. If I add them together, I'll be having 1v plus 72v, which will give me 73v, which is not 21v, so it does not substitute. We'll have to look for another way. We'll say 1v minus 72v, which will give me minus 71v. It does not satisfy what we are looking for. So we'll move down to the second number. 2v times 36v. If we add them together, 2v plus 36v will give me 38v. 2v minus 36v will give me minus 34v, which is not minus 21v, so it does not satisfy. We'll go down to 3v and 24v. So 3v times 24v, remember it is 72v squared. So these are factors. Now when I say, so let's add them first. Plus 3v plus 24v will give me plus 27v, but plus 3v minus 24v will give me minus 21v, which is actually what we are looking for. So now the reason why I'm using plus and minus is because when we come down to the second and the third rules of sign, plus times minus is equal to minus. Minus times plus is equal to minus. You know, our question is minus 72v. What we are actually looking for is minus 72v. So meaning we have to look for numbers that when we use this sign plus and minus, which are equal to minus, it will give us back our minus 72v. So now we will be using plus 3v times minus 24v. When we multiply them together, plus times minus is minus. So 3 times 24 is 72, v times v squared. So this actually satisfies what we are looking for. So we'll be carrying out plus 3v minus 24v to substitute minus 21v. So our value becomes 8v squared plus 3v minus 24v minus 9 equals to 0. So plus 3v minus 24v is substituting minus 21v. Substituting minus 21v. So now let's move forward. The next thing we're going to do is to group these numbers in two. So I'll be grouping 8v squared with 3v, and I'll be grouping 24v with 9. So when we group them into two, it will be very easy for us to factorize. So we'll put them in a bracket. 8v squared plus 3v, then our sign minus then we put the second group in the second numbers in the bracket. 24v plus 9 all equal to 0. Now, if you notice this plus sign, I actually changed the sign. So we change the sign to plus because we are dealing with brackets and we also have a minus sign here. Bracket means multiplication. So if I carry this minus sign, multiply it by the plus sign here, it will give me minus 9, which is minus plus 9 will give me minus 9. So don't get confused on where this plus is coming from. It is coming from the rule of the signs, whereby minus times plus is minus. So now we have to bring out the factors. What is common among 8v squared and 3v? V is common. So when I bring out v, I'll be having 8v plus 3. Now we'll go down to the next number. What is common between 24v and 9? 3 is common. So don't forget to bring out your sign. Minus. Now we'll bring out what is common between these two numbers. 3 is common. So when I remove 3 from 24v, I'll be having 8v. Now 3 in 9 will give me 3. All equals to 0. Now, the rule of quadratic is the numbers we factored out in a bracket must be the same. So now we are saying 8v plus 3 and 8v plus 3. These are the same, so we'll be picking 1. Now if I pick out 1, I'll write it down here. 8v plus 3 in a bracket. Now I'll be left with v and minus 3. I'm left with v and minus 3. So I'll bring them together. V and minus 3. When I bring them together, I also put them in a bracket. V minus 3 all equals to 0. Now this has given us exactly what we'll have in our first example. This is now factors of 8v squared minus 21v minus 9. These are the factors. So remember the first rule, which says if a times b is equals to 0, either a is equals to 0 or b equals to 0. So now if 8v plus 3 times v minus 3 is equals to 0, either 8v plus 3 is equal to 0 or v minus 3 is equal to 0. Now we'll collect like them. So 8v equals to 0. When plus 3 crosses equation sign, it gives us minus 3. Or v equals to 0. When minus 3 crosses equation sign, it gives us plus 3. Coming back to the left hand side, 8v equals to 0 minus 3 gives me minus 3. Or v equals to 0 plus 3 gives me 3. Now we'll divide both sides by the coefficient of v. The coefficient of v on the left hand side is 8. So I'll divide both sides by 8. All over 8, all over 8. Now 8 cancel 8. Our v is equals to minus 3 over 8 or v equals to 3. So therefore, the value or the answers for this question is v equals to minus 3 over 8 or 3. Thank you. In our next class, we'll be solving questions from the past question, which is the WAEC past question, so that we'll be able to practice what we've learned so far on factorization method. Then after the WAEC question, we'll be solving questions. We'll move down to method number 2, which is the perfect square method. See you in my next class. Thank you.